This week we take a closer look at some of the homegrown games on display at this year's AVCon. More than 50 Australian and New Zealand titles were on show in the Indie Games room, so we picked a few favourites and caught up with coordinator Brad Barrett to find out what was going on. This is Player Attack. Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this week gamers got more than a little bit excited when a stunt actor's resume revealed he'd been working on a little game called Grand Theft Auto 6. Once the original thrill had died down, it didn't take much to reveal that, we're sorry to say, it was all a big hoax. Tim Neff really is a stuntman, and he really has worked on a bunch of stuff, including Ray Donovan, Gotham, and even Christopher Nolan's latest, Dunkirk, but he maintains he has not contributed any time to either GTA 6 or Red Dead Redemption 2, which was also mentioned in the leaked resume. In this case, leaked means faked, with Neff claiming someone is trolling him. In other news, it looks like Nintendo is shaping up for some big end-of-year festivities for the Switch, starting with Rayman Legends Definitive Edition headed that way in September. Enter the Gungeon is also popping onto the new console, even if developer Dodge Roll Games isn't quite sure when it'll make it there. But don't think you have to wait for the good stuff. Splatoon 2 launched earlier this month and, in Japan at least, sold more than 4 times as many copies as the original game in just 3 days. The original Splatoon sold a respectable 156,000 units when it launched for Wii U back in 2015. The sequel, more than 670,000, the biggest debut for a Switch title and the highest selling Switch title to date. In quick news, EA has published an official statement that, despite consumer backlash and criticism, Mass Effect Andromeda was a financial success. The publisher has confirmed that digital net sales reached a new record for the first quarter, and full game PC and console downloads were up 32% on last year. Andromeda reportedly drove these numbers, but it still wasn't enough to push the game into the future, with plans for the game including single-player DLC, expansions and potential sequels allegedly scrapped. In super quick news, in the same investor call, EA also confirmed that a new Battlefield game will be released in 2018, so act surprised. It's not going well for everybody though. After 6 months, sales of Resident Evil 7 reportedly pale in comparison to previous games in the series. The horror game has moved a none too shabby 3.7 million copies worldwide since its January launch, which isn't bad, until you compare it to the more than 5 million each moved by Resident Evils 5 and 6. Of course, Resident Evil 5 is both the biggest selling game in the franchise and Capcom's biggest selling game of all time, but it looks like the latest installment isn't quite the return to form the studio had hoped for. But sticking with Capcom, there is some good news. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is due out in September, and while the game looks solid and the Marvel characters look amazing, these Street Fighters are letting the team down a bit. Okay, I'll spell it out. We're talking about Chun-Li, because she's more than a little weird looking this time around. Happily, the team at Capcom say they are currently making improvements to Chun-Li, as well as other Capcom characters, so hopefully by the time the game's released, she will look better. And if she doesn't, you might just have to play with one of the other characters on the roster. More than 24 have been revealed to date, with Nemesis, Mike Hagar, Frank West, Spider-Man and Gamora among the latest.
You want to take us on? My condolences. Spider cannon! Going somewhere? Around we go! Caught me a big one! See ya! Crawler! Red! Good! Power Stone! Let's go to town! Yeah! Oh! And it's out of here! Get out of here! Hey, Spider-Man! It's Spider time! Here we go! Here! Uh-oh. Spider suit's tingling. You again. Don't you ever get tired of this? Sorry, Norman. You're not my type.
Beta access for Destiny 2 kicks off later this month, and Bungie has thoughtfully released details on what sort of a PC you will need to run it. Basically, if you've got anything better than an Intel Core i3 or an AMD FX 4350, coupled with a GeForce GTX 660 or a Radeon HD 7850, you should be right. Early access starts on August 28, with open beta from August 29, before it all shuts down again on August 31. Check bungie.net for local times. And finally this week, some good news for those of us hanging out for Wolfenstein 2. There are 4 story-based DLC episodes to follow the launch, and each one will let you play as a different character. Series protagonist BJ Blazkowicz is off fighting baddies, so you get the chance to step into the shoes of other freedom fighters around the USA. And if you've forgotten why we are so excited for the upcoming sequel, here's a quick look at the new Colossus.
Anyway, one night, Papa heard something on the police frequency, and he brought me up north to Murphy's Ranch, where we found this flying saucer-like thing that crashed into the ground. And wouldn't you know it, the U.S. motherfucking military swooped in and quarantined off the entire purview. Gave us some kind of bullshit story about a weather balloon. They were lying out of their asses because we made off with some actual hard evidence. Here, take a look at this. Pulled that baby right out of the crash site. Now, does that look like something that came off a weather balloon?
Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, is due from October 27 for PC, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. For more information on any of these stories or to keep up to date with the latest gaming news, head to playerattack.com. But for now, stick around, we've got plenty more still to come.
We are here at AVCon and we've wandered into the Indie Games Room and we are here with Think of the Children. But first, who are you?
I'm Justine, so I'm the community manager at Surprise Attack.
Hi, I'm Izzy. I used to be a solo developer, but now I've got friends.
I'm Ash. I'm the head of Machine Spirit, which is an Adelaide micro studio. At the moment, we're working on Modded Knock, which is a puzzle game about trust.
Hey, I'm Brad. I run the Indie Games Room here at AVCon. Been doing it for about 5 years now. The Indies Game Room is a space for independent game developers, Australia and New Zealand, to come and show off their games to the general audience.
We're currently showing Think of the Children here at AVCon.
You have control over your character, but you also need to get your friend, the nature spirit, across to the other side of the board. They don't want to do what you say unless you do a little bit of give and take.
This year is the 10th RGR, so 10 years of bringing independent game developers together and connecting them with their audience directly.
It's called Bloodbeard's Revenge. It's a retro indie RPG. It's also got a lot of digitized graphics and all the current, well, next gen, very current thing of, say, 1990, 1890, 17, 15 even.
We've had a lot of parents come by and they're like, it feels a little too close for home.
We had a bit of a break where we weren't developing it for a little while, and it's really nice to come back to AVCon and go and have so many people get involved and be like, oh wait, no, this is a game that people enjoy, and have people be like, oh no, I'm not leaving this booth until I finish this damn level.
It's a very symbiotic relationship. For AVCon, it's simple. We have a whole bunch of games that we aren't going to have otherwise. It's diversity. You get a big rollover of games each year. You get like a couple, it can become a couple years, but overall, big changeover each year, and that keeps it nice and fresh. And for the developers, they get access to audience members they're just not going to otherwise, and getting someone to play your game in front of you who has never seen it before is so invaluable.
Aye.
It's always hard to pick some standout favourites. XO1 being back this year for a second year, just so much more polish on it again this year. It's smooth, it's relaxing. Like, I feel like it's a similar feeling to what you get when you're playing games like Journey and other just really soft, easy games.
Hi, I'm Jay. I'm the sole developer on XO1, which is the game you're currently watching. I've been working on this for over a year now, and this is the sort of the tutorial on the first planet that's telling you how to play the game. And what you just saw there and heard is just some kind of mysterious structures and sounds which you'll find out more about as you play the game.
The Adventure Pals, bright, flashy, really colourful, kind of almost a bit of sensory overload at times just because there's so many colours, but it's just fun. It's wacky, it's quirky. You have a giraffe that twists its head around to like make you fly. It's, yeah, just a bit nuts. Forts has to probably be the one which I always never quite spend enough time on. It's a strategy game, love my strategy games.
My name is Red. I like when things go boom.
We're told that your codename is Spook.
That is correct, because I live in the shadows and I see all.
If you could introduce yourself, please.
My name's Lisa, they call me Firebird. It's like the fire's telling me what to do, but most of the time it's just telling me to start more fire.
So I'm a rich businessman with more money than sense, and I want to buy this game. Pitch it to me.
Okay, so it's a frantic co-op parenting simulator. You're thrown into different environments and you have to complete tasks while making sure that the kids don't die.
Intergalactic Space Princess is a hyperactive adventure game about mistaken identity and traveling across the universe. You play as Nalene, sassy 14-year-old who, on the way to buy milk, accidentally gets eaten by a giant space worm. Then, when she wakes up in a completely alternate dimension, she's mistaken for the real Space Princess. Being the 14-year-old that she is, decides to roll with it.
There's pillaging, plundering, rum swilling, ravishing, all the good things.
bringing in interstate games largely comes down to word of mouth. Starting back my first year, 2011, we had one game from interstate was in the room. Yeah, that was Alexander Bruce with Antichamber, and from there, word just continued to spread. Thankfully, Alexander did go on to mention to people, and it's just kind of spread. Like when I'm talking to people at other conventions, most of them have already heard about the Indie Games Room and want to come down. They're just waiting for that year when they've got it just lines up for them. Yeah, mostly it's word of mouth. When they then see stuff from us, like on social media or get an email from us, they're like, right, I do want to get there and come down. So I'd like to be able to say we've done a lot to make them come down, but largely it is just we have a good product and people like to talk about it.
Sometimes you have to say, no, we can't do that. And sometimes you have to say, hey, I'll do what you want if you'll do what I want later. So it's definitely about relationships and how people interact with nature and with animals and those sorts of things.
Basically like a point-and-click game, but with mini-games instead of puzzles. But it's like a TV episode where you get to do all the action.
Oh boy, howdy.
The great thing for having the interstate devs done for the local scene is that they're able to make more networking connections than they just can't otherwise. And a lot of people here, especially at the lower level, because like we have some things to network here and stuff, but it's a really reasonably small audience, so it's easy to get comfortable with that. Where when you have people going interstate, you get a fresh whole bunch of people to talk with, so you can expand your network outside of Adelaide.
Definitely watch the space.
Yeah, definitely.
We have boarded the good ship AVCon and we have found ourselves in the Indie Games Room, and I have found this delectable looking chap. Captain, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Captain Hellfire, and Pillaging and Plundering is my game, and this is also my game right here.
The nature of the room has changed to a degree, but I wouldn't say, so changed the wrong word, it's expanded. Initially it was just students, where now we have teams ranging from student all the way up to fully professional projects that, you know, go on to sell better part of 500,000 copies. Ultimately, what makes the room is the games, so I hope just to continue to bring more great games.
Should be able to play it by the end of the year. We've got our album coming out, because we are actually the local pirate rock and roll band as well, Captain Hellfire and the Wretched Reverend. So the album will be coming out at the end of the year. If you download or buy that, you get the game along for free.
That's a deal and a half.
Aye, indeed it is.
Definitely coming out on PC, Mac and Linux, and maybe Android. We're looking at about this time next year, so middle of 2018 is where we're hoping to be at. We're gonna just brush up, get some more levels in there, get a little bit of a narrative going, but that's the main kind of schedule that we've got at the moment.
It's a mobile game completely. We've just got a PC build as well here today, and it's coming out at hopefully we'll be finished by the end of the year and then released sometime after that.
If you go to thinkofthechildren.com or you join the Surprise Attacks Discord, you can find out more information about how to become one of our open beta testers, and then hopefully we'll have a date come out for the game later in the year.
We really do try to make sure everyone's being social, chatting, and thankfully that happens quite organically within the games community once they're all together. Like when everyone's separate in their studios, yeah, it may not happen, but once you get them together, everyone's nice, friendly, and it's quite easy to get everyone, cultivating good cross-pollination, talking to each other, and really, learning off each other. My background is actually in 3D modelling and art, the art side of making games. Back in 2011 when I first came to the first time I came to show in the Indie Games Room, I did it, and funnily enough, the build of the game I had broke entirely. We had just enough to kind of give people the idea in like a minute of gameplay before it broke completely. But yeah, talking to people and seeing how excited they got just by the idea of the game was incredible. It was like, there's nothing else quite like it. And from that, I then wanted to be able to give that experience to other people as well, because it really helps motivate you to push yourself further and actually get there at making games. Because you can get there, you just have to be dedicated.
Oh, am I supposed to say something else?
And that's about it for this edition of Player Attack. Thanks for watching. Next week, we are sorting through the Digital Australia Report for 2018. We recently caught up with the author, Jeffrey Brand from Bond University, to find out more about which Australians play video games, where they're playing, and why they play them, and the answers surprised even the researchers. In the meantime, you can catch us at playerattack.com. We're on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, and if you've got something you want to say, send us an email, mailbox@playerattack.com, or just hop on our forums. Also, if you want to support Player Attack, you can find us on Patreon and help us bring you the latest in gaming news, plus all these wonderful interviews and reviews from the world of video games. Till next week, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this is Player Attack.